Milo, is that you?
There, I think I got it. Bruce?
Lionel?
Are you on mute?
No. For a change, no.
I thought your T-shirt at the picnic went over very well.
That's what I thought. I think we could probably sell a few of those. And,
yeah.
But, I can personally autograph them, and we can, finance some new shrimp for the green room.
Well, there you go. Well, and the thing I was going to do, of course, is I was thinking, we could get one of those, not a caricature, but it looks like a pencil drawing of Bruce, and it's Bruce, but it's not, a little bit of a caricature.
Yeah. The kind of giant head and small body thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to put that on the shirt, but then that was going to require a lot of work, so I just went with I'm on mute.
Yeah.
Because
after all the problems we had trying to get Little Willie drawn, I don't think.
yeah. I think Little Willie is the name that I'm going to stick with. I've had a lot of thought about that, and it's been some time now. Probably by now, Little Willie has been well established. I actually got some stickers of Little Willie, and Barb was thrilled when they came.
Excellent.
Yeah, and she's texting me. I got these stickers of the little fighting sock. Our next guest has no idea what we're talking about, so we'll have to explain.
That's okay. We'll clue him in.
Yeah,
or maybe not.
Or maybe not. All he needs to know is it's a fighting sock from Argyle, Texas.
Home of the fighting socks.
Home of the fighting socks. All right. So remember a long time ago we talked to a fellow named
planet far, far away,
in a galaxy far, far away. We talked to a fellow named Chris Brimley.
Yes, the guy with the HON scale layout.
Yeah, the HON scale layout. Yeah, that's what it was. And he had just had his layout on the cover of a Railroad Model Craftsman.
May 2019. Yes,
May 2019. It was the very first issue that Otto Vondrak was officially the editor.
Yes.
He'd been friends with Otto for about 10 years. He was in his 30s at the time, which put him in that non-existent category of model railroaders.
That's right, because we know they don't exist at all.
Exactly. And he was also the vice president of product development and everything else over there at ExactRail.
Yes.
So he was just like a fun guy to talk to.
He was a great guy to talk to.
I know, yeah. I wonder who he liked better, you or me.
Nah, I'm happy either way.
You know what? We're going to find out at the end of the Kelly questions.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's why you see. I hope he's still.
I know exactly which question you mean.
Yeah, I hope he's still in the green room.
Yes.
Can you go see this time? Last time I just about.
Okay. Yes. All right, let me go get him. Hey, Chris, are you alive in there, pal?
Yeah, it still stinks. I think something
okay.
Dead and it's now dead.
Well, come on out. We'll get a Glade air freshener in there and life will be better.
Yeah, just don't get too close to us. Maybe sit on that couch on the other side of the studio.
That's fine. I'll yell.
And be careful. At one end of the couch, something happened, and we're not sure what happened to it.
Oh, there's what I can finance with the T-shirt sales is the new couch.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the I'm on mute T-shirts.
Yes.
So, Chris, we have a series of hard-hitting questions.
Okay.
That we will ask our guests from time to time, and they're really a series of questions about model railroading, and they really do an in-depth look into your soul to see where you stand on many of the aspects of the hobby.
Okay.
It's really a psychological profile we do. But,
it's a psychoanalysis is really what it is.
Yeah.
And you have to put on this tinfoil hat.
Ooh.
But you get to keep that as a lovely parting gift.
Yeah. Oh, good. I like that. I don't need the government reading my thoughts.
And that's why we have 14-2 wire on it. Well, so what do you think? Should we just get started, Bruce? Let them have at it?
That's probably the best way to do it. Throw them right in and see what happens.
All right. Chris, which do you prefer, steam or diesel?
Prototype or modeling? If it's modeling, I prefer diesel, but the prototype, I like steam.
I got a bad feeling about this already, Bruce.
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Let me get the bigger pad out.
Yeah. I'm gonna get the thick Sharpie out. This isn't gonna.
You want one answer, I'll say diesel.
Okay, so you prefer diesel.
I'll prefer diesel.
And do you have a particular diesel that's a favorite?
Yeah, my favorite would be the SD40 T-2, the tunnel motors.
All right, and they're a popular locomotive as far as modelers go, aren't they?
They are. That's what I grew up in Colorado and Utah, and so that's what on the Rio Grande. That's what I grew up around. So.
And do you sell a lot of those scale trains, tunnel motors at the old Train Life store?
We sold out of every single one that we brought in.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you surprised at how quickly they sold, or?
No, they were beautiful.
Yeah.
I would argue to say one of the best locomotives ever done.
Wow, cool.
Yeah.
What's your favorite prototype railroad?
The Denver and Rio Grande.
And, which, of course, explains why you're modeling New York Hudson
New York
Terminal.
Central. Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
If you were rail fanning, would you rather photograph the trains or ride on them?
I would say ride.
Right. And have you ever had any kind of excursions that were memorable of any kind?
Yeah, I would say my most memorable was a trip that I took with my dad on the California Zephyr not long after I got into the hobby.
Oh, okay.
So just he and I rode it from Provo to Denver, and then spend a day or two in Denver, and then rode it back.
Okay. How long of a ride is it in hours or time to get from Provo to Denver?
I think it's about 13 hours.
That's a pretty cool ride. I think I have ridden it from Denver to Salt Lake City and back. Yes.
Okay.
And then of course, it would lead me to telling you the story about going across Kansas and falling out of the shower, but that's for another day. Track was a little rough in Kansas.
Oof. Okay.
If you could time travel, what era would you model? Like if you could travel back in time and the actual being in the era, which era in railroading would you prefer to be in?
50s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The end of steam. Although the big boy ran up until 1961, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. The 50s, the steam to diesel transition would be neat, but just the 1950s, just in general, there's just something about it that appeals to me.
Is there any particular date in the 50s that you could identify?
I'd probably go to what my layout is dated, and it's 1955.
1955.
Mm-hmm.
Any particular time?
If I had to do a season, probably the spring.
All right, there you go. So you're very close, because I would have picked April 16th, 1954.
Okay.
So we're so close.
Mm-hmm.
When would you have picked, Bruce, in the 50s?
Probably April 13, 1956.
There you go, you see.
Okay.
What was your first model train?
My first was, so I didn't start in the train set. I started piecing together freight cars, but my first locomotive was a Athearn RTR Denver and Rio Grande Western GP 40-2.
So what year would that have been? About around the late 90s? It
was about 94.
So that would probably been a pretty good runner out of the box then.
Yeah, it was. It was good.
All right. So what's your favorite model railroad scale?
Even though my layout is N, I would say my favorite is HO.
Okay. And so true or false, is N scale dead?
Absolutely. True. Sorry, true. No, N scale is still trucking along. I think at a pretty good pace.
Is it growing? Is N scale growing?
I don't know. I think there's more products available for it now, but I think it is growing because you're seeing kind of a lot of people doing like what I did and don't have space and are just building these small shelf layouts. And you can do that well in HO, but N scale just really lends itself well to doing that.
Yeah, and it runs so well now.
It does, absolutely. And there's some beautiful things being put out in N scale now.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous stuff. And I mean, our young friend Shane, the Young Gun Mason, he puts does the decoder installs and puts lights, ditch lights, and all sorts of lights and fancy stuff in them.
It's
he does some amazing work.
Yeah, he does. You're gonna have to meet him, Chris. You'd enjoy knowing him.
No, I need to get to know him more. I know a lot of people that know him well, but I've never really had the chance to meet him yet.
There you go. What's your favorite model railroad?
My favorite model railroad? Boy, I will say Rob Spangler's Western Pacific 8th Subdivision layout.
And that's in Provo, or is it in Salt Lake City?
It's north of Salt Lake. He lives in a town called Syracuse, which is just outside of Ogden.
Okay. I don't know if I've ever seen that layout in person or not. And what kind of size is it?
His layout, I think, is probably about a 25 by 30. I might be a little bigger, or maybe not quite that big.
Right. And you go regularly to operating sessions?
Yeah, I go fairly regularly, and he usually has a crew of about, I think, 8 or 9 guys that run on it each session. So
is he like once a month, once every 2 months?
Yeah, once a month. I think he operates on the first Saturday of every month.
Okay. And how far, because you're about 45 minutes south of Salt Lake City, how long does it take you to get there?
It's about an hour and 15 minutes.
But well worth the drive.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's worth getting together with friends and fun of each other and belittling each other and making sure to rub somebody's face in it when they have a derailment. So.
And then they can give you a hard time about what's the next car's ExactRail is going to build.
All the time. Yep. They try to get stuff out of me, and I just punch them in the face.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's the way I'd handle it.
Yeah.
Who's the most influential model railroader for you?
That would be Kelly Newton.
Kelly Newton.
Kelly Newton. Yeah, he was really who pried me out of my shell of being a model railroader and kind of taught me most of what I know in operations and just really kind of held my hand for a little while and grew me to become a more confident model railroader.
And how did you meet him originally?
It was in a Yahoo group of some local N-scalers that I had joined.
Okay.
And I for me at the time, took a big deep breath and posted a couple pictures of some structures I had scratch built, and he really helped to build up my confidence, because at the time I had no idea how if my stuff was any good or not, because I saw every single mistake and that was about it.
It's amazing how if you reach out to somebody, how you can make a difference in their life and not really know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in your original interview, you said, unfortunately, Kelly passed away.
He did. Yeah. He unfortunately kind of suddenly passed away a few years ago. And that was when I found out. It was hard on me, but it was hard on a lot of local modelers as well, because Kelly was, unfortunately didn't have his own layout, but he was instrumental on multiple layouts in the area with helping on the layout design. And
oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you just saw him. Must have been rather difficult for you because you probably didn't know him that long.
No, I mean, I think we knew each other fairly well for, I think, maybe about 6-7 years. And so
yeah,
I wish I would have known him even more and longer, unfortunately.
All right. Well, there's a big shout out for Kelly Newton.
Thank you.
Select one of the following as your favorite: bench work, track work, scenery, or electrical.
I would say scenery.
All right. If you could give somebody, and what is it about? There's not a lot of scenery on the Hudson Terminal Railroad.
No, there is not much scenery.
So when do you get to practice your scenery building skills?
I've made a few little dioramas here and there. Just to
okay. Oh, that's cool. And do you have any plans of, you really enjoy your 1 foot by 7 foot layout. Do you have any plans of even building, say, another small layout like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of unfortunate. I mean, working at ExactRail, you spend a lot of time studying and researching a lot of different railroads, and you find things about so many different railroads that interest you. And so, I mean, I would be happy suddenly one day modeling the Milwaukee Road or the Norfolk and Western or Penn Central. I mean, so part of me would like to build something completely different just so I could scratch that itch and then move on. And another part of me would just like to expand on the layout. And if I expanded the layout, what I would do is I'd model the other side of the river and do a layout based on New York Central's Weehawken Terminal.
Okay, there you go. That'd be not a lot. Again, not a lot of scenery, except urban scenery is cool.
It is. This would be mostly just yard, and there would be some. There's bluffs that were behind the yard.
Yeah,
and there'd be some buildings up on top of those bluffs.
Okay. If you could give somebody starting out in the hobby just one item, and cost was no object, what would it be?
Ooh. Well, I mean, this is something cheap, but this was the most meaningful thing that I got when I first got in the hobby was, and maybe it's not as meaningful today, but my first issue of Model Railroader was what really established me as a modeler. There were two layouts that were featured in that issue that really, I mean, you see those two layouts influenced in my current layout. Okay. And so I think it's the $7 for a magazine seems simple, but for me it was huge.
Now, Bruce, what do you think the chances are his first issue was February '94?
Well, perhaps. Yeah,
that'd go a long way if
that'd go a long way in the.
Very, very close. It was actually September '94.
Sorry. Just missed it by that much. Oh boy, this is a fun question, Bruce. I hope he gets this one right.
Yes.
Where do you buy most of your model railroad supplies?
I get all of my supplies at trainlife.com.
Trainlife.com. It
was tricky, but he managed to get it out.
He managed to stumble through that one. And how is trainlife.com going these days?
Trainlife.com is growing fast. We've started off with product on just 4 little baker's racks, and now we're in about 3,000 square feet and growing. That's
spectacular. And how old is the actual store part?
Store part of it's only about 4 years old.
Wow. Yeah. So while everybody else is, there's somebody else that we is kind of a semi-regular guest on here. His name is Stephen Atwell, and him and his dad started Midwest Model Railroad.
Okay.
And they did it with N scale because they couldn't get the stuff they needed, and they're in Kansas City, and they opened a store.
Great.
So it's not a simple case of all the stores are closing. It's the people that are working with the internet are making some headway.
Mm-hmm. No, you can thrive. You just got to do things differently than what they were.
Yeah, trainlife.com.
Yes.
What is your favorite train event of the year, model or prototype?
Ooh, that's a toss-up for me. I'll probably settle on the Springfield show in January.
Okay, that's a good choice. That's one of our favorites.
After that, it'd probably be Train Fest.
Okay, and how often do you get to Springfield?
I go every year.
Attaboy. This year I'm going to be looking you up.
You better.
Do you prefer regular beer or light beer?
Neither. I am a cider fan.
Do you prefer regular beer or light beer?
Fine, regular.
All right. I like cider beer too.
Yeah, I like cider.
I've become very partial to cider beer.
Okay, I know it's a little sweet for some, but I enjoy it.
Reds. I like reds off the shelf.
Okay.
Salty or sweet?
Salty.
Dogs or cats?
Cats.
Do you have any?
I have 3.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I love them though.
If one of them is named Muffin, we'll probably stop the questions right here. What are their names?
The first one's actually close. The oldest is Mr. Biscuits.
Okay.
And then Sinclair.
Uh-huh.
And then Zuzu.
All right, Mr. Biscuits.
Yeah.
Chris seems like a guy that would have a cat named Mr. Biscuits.
Yes.
It's my boy.
It's Mr. Biscuits.
Yep.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Oh. What are your favorite hot dog condiments?
Sauerkraut and mustard.
Ah, good selection. Good choice. Very good choice.
Ketchup is for children.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Could you say that again?
Ooh.
Ketchup is for children.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Once you're over the age of 8, you shouldn't be putting ketchup on your hot dog.
I concur.
Have you ever been bungee jumping?
I have not.
If you were a beer can, what size would you be?
16 ounce.
All right. This next one's a toughie. How many pairs of shoes do you own?
Good grief. I probably have about 8 pairs.
Okay. That's a good answer. Usually everybody goes, I got like 3 pairs, I got 4 pairs, and then you start delving into it, and they have a lot more. So you probably have at least have 1 pair of running shoes or sneakers.
Yeah, I've got a pair of sneakers. I've got a pair of work boots. Then I've got 2 pairs of dress shoes, brown and black. And then just a few other just kind of everyday shoes that I wear that I kind of rotate through a little bit.
Yeah, so it's probably every morning you've got that really tough decision what shoes to wear today.
Yeah, I usually settle on one though.
Attaboy. Do you get your wife involved most days, or can you handle it yourself?
No, I can usually figure it out, but sometimes she needs to help me tie them.
All right. What's your favorite pie?
Pecan.
Raspberry.
Raspberry.
A raspberry pie, or squared.
Or squared. Okay.
Although I do love pecan pie.
Okay.
This next question is a real big one. This is where your score really goes up or down.
Okay.
What is your favorite Bobby Goldsboro song?
Honey.
Wow.
A perfectly acceptable answer.
Yeah, perfectly acceptable.
Because until a while ago, it was the only one we knew.
Yeah. But usually people couldn't come up with that.
Yes.
That's how you know who's listened to the show or not.
Yeah, there you go. Yes, okay, all right. If you were a superhero, what sort of powers would you have?
I would say flight.
Okay, flight. You'd be Flyman.
Yeah, I always loved having the dreams where I could fly. Those were my favorite.
Okay, so you'd be Flyman, and I'm picturing you in a one-piece green spandex suit.
Green, okay.
With a giant zipper on the front. With a giant zipper on the front because you're Flyman.
No.
I came up with that all by myself.
That's pretty good.
Have you ever had a brush with the law?
No, I've lived a pretty boring life.
All right. And you never had a moving citation?
Oh, I've had a speeding ticket chasing a train once, but
well, that's a good story.
Yeah.
You got a speeding ticket chasing a train.
It was actually on my birthday too. There was a ribbon rail train that was going up what's called Spanish Fork Canyon here. It was heading up the up on the old Rio Grande, and I was trying to get ahead of it, and it ran through the Provo yard, and so I kind of sped to get ahead of it, and I was heading up the canyon and doing, I don't know, probably a good 20 over the speed limit, and then a highway patrolman spotted me, pulled me over, didn't care it was my birthday, and so I ended up getting a citation, and then thinking I had lost the train, we turned around to head back home, and as we were coming down the canyon, we were ahead of it. We were just driving away from it instead of catching it, and so somewhere we snuck past it and didn't realize it.
So you didn't even need the speeding ticket.
No, nope.
Those are the best kind to get, the ones you didn't even need. You're just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on TV?
I've been in like the background of but that's it. I've never really been interviewed or featured on TV. Okay,
like a background of what?
There was a building years ago. My first job that I worked at out of high school was building furniture, and I showed up to work on a Saturday to train a new employee, and the place was a pile of ashes, and the fire department was putting out some spot fires. And it was a great job. I loved it. I get to do, two of my favorite things all day because it was right next to the grade. And so I could build furniture and then try not to cut my thumbs off as a train would go by.
And then it just burnt.
it burnt down, and so I was in the background as the owner of the business was getting interviewed on TV.
Oh my goodness gracious!
Yeah, that was sad.
Bruce, I have a story about brush with the law. Should I tell it?
Oh, it's never stopped you before.
Okay. This is a quick one. This is a kind of interesting one. Yesterday in my neighborhood, there was we have you remember Mrs. Kravitz from Bewitched show?
Oh yeah, she's the nosy neighbor.
Yeah, Abner. Well, we have one of those, and she keeps tabs on everybody's comings and goings.
Mm-hmm.
So I was riding my bike, and there's Isabel walking down the street, and I go, "Oh yeah, Isabel," and she says, "You know, and she points to the house across the street, and she says, the front door to that house has been open for the last 4 hours." And I'm like, "Really?" And she says, "Yeah." And she says, "What should I do?" And I said, and I look, and sure enough, there's this house, and the front door is wide open. I said, "Well, I'd call the police if I was you." And she said, "Well, I was going to go in." And I said, No, just call the police. That's what you're supposed to do." So anyways, the police come, blah, blah, blah. And the guy, 2 cops come, and they go through the house and look like they just left the door. Somehow the door had blown open or something. Mm-hmm. And he says, the 5 doors in the house, 4 of them weren't locked. And I go, "Really?" He says, "Yeah, but nobody locks their doors around here." And I'm like, "Really?" And he says, "Yeah." He says, "They do a bit more now." And I said, "I always lock my doors." And he says, "Where do you live?" And I pointed to my house up the street. And he says, "Oh, yeah, I know you lock your doors." And I said, "Well, how do you know that?" And he says, "Well, how do you think? I'm always checking them." I went, "Oh, okay." So I thought that was kind of cool. That I passed.
Kind of creepy. That's actually kind of creepy that they're going around trying your doors.
No, I'm quite happy that the police are trying to see if my house is locked up properly. And then I remembered that one night about 20 years ago, he woke me up in the middle of the night and he says, "Do you mind closing your garage door so I don't have to come back when somebody steals your car?"
Okay.
Yeah. Well, okay, Chris, we'll get back to you now.
Oh, okay.
Who's your best friend?
That would be my wife.
Okay, and what's your wife's name?
Her name is Cassie.
Hey, Cassie, there's a shout out to Cassie.
She'll like that.
How long have you and Cassie been together?
Almost 16 years.
Cool, and you got 3 girls.
Yeah, we do have 3 daughters.
And what are their names?
The oldest is Chloe, the middle one is Sophie or Sophia, and then the youngest is Olivia.
Well, that's cool, having 3 young daughters.
Yeah, no, I love them.
And at least and you didn't name one of them Mr. Biscuits.
No. I saved that for the cat.
Yeah. That must be a lot of fun having 3 daughters.
No, I love it. They keep me busy, and sometimes occasionally can be embarrassed by me, and I love embarrassing them. So
yeah, there you go. Well, that's what that.
Wait till they get a little bit older and boyfriends are involved, then check back with
them.
Yeah. What's your favorite zoo animal?
Zoo animal, I would say a bear.
A bear? Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't think we've had a bear.
No.
We've had a lot of giraffes. I don't know if we've ever had the bear. Any particular bear?
I'd say a grizzly. I remember when I was a kid going to the local zoo, and seeing the bears were always some of my favorite.
Okay. They look cute, but of course they could rip your arm off, so they're not that.
Yep, they'll kill you if they had the chance.
Yeah. Do you prefer baseball or hockey?
Baseball.
If you could only choose one professional sports team to root for, would it be the Detroit Tigers or the Toronto Maple Leafs?
I'll say the Detroit Tigers.
So close. This is a real tough question. If you were stranded on a desert island with just one person, would you prefer it to be Bruce, the moderately agitated mailboy, or Lionel, the evil overlord?
Ooh. Well,
we never said it'd be easy.
No, it wouldn't be easy. I would probably have more fun talking with Bruce, but Lionel, you'd keep me busy and in line, and that would probably be for the best. And so you wouldn't starve because I'll be doing all the work for you. So,
well, he's got a point there, Bruce.
True enough.
I'll go with you, Lionel.
That's a good answer.
I don't know you that well, Bruce. So
It's kind of like I like it, but he's such a screwball. I better go with the old guy, you know?
Yeah. Well, and he's afraid that you'd always be on mute.
Well, that's a possibility.
Final question. What's your favorite podcast?
my favorite podcast will have to be a Modeler's Life.
There you go. Attaboy.
There you go.
All right. Well, now we got to add up the scores and see where you finished. So
Okay, let me do. We got a couple of gazintas and well, hey, wow, not bad, not bad.
What'd you get?
I let me just double check this. Yeah, that's right, 4.39.
Wow.
I know. I was looking. I was trying to figure out where I screwed up, but no, 4.39.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he kind of got off on a slow start where they've the first question didn't quite understand, but after that, he picked it up and gave a good, solid performance.
Yeah. When we got to the first question and right out of the box, it was like all over the place. I'm thinking, oh man, this is going to be a long 35 minutes of my life I'll never get back. But I really picked up when I asked him if N-scale was dead, and he said it's absolutely dead. So
yes,
I was pretty excited about that. And then when he was talking about his most favorite model railroad, he talked about, this is what got me. It was back-to-back questions. His favorite model railroad was Rob Spangler, and he said he liked to go up there and punch guys in the face.
Yeah. That's a pastime of mine.
Yeah. So I thought, well, this guy's, that was pretty good. And then everything else, the beer question threw me. Mm-hmm. And dogs or cats, Mr. Biscuits. I like that
Mr.
name.
Biscuits. That sounds like that's a cool name.
Yeah.
So it's almost like the evil guy in the Austin Powers movie would have a cat named Mr. Biscuits.
Yeah.
Mr. Biscuits. Yes.
The only problem I see with it is you and I walking up to him at Springfield one year, and I go, "Hey, look, it's Mr. Biscuits."
There we go.
which I hope I remember that he likes to punch guys in the face.
Yeah.
Before I say it,
and you'll be standing behind me. Yeah.
Yeah. Or before I say it, so just avoid the. And
Mr. High, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And pairs of shoes. He owned up that he had 8. That was good. He owned up.
He had some pairs of shoes, yeah.
And I loved his costume because he'd fly man with a giant zipper on it.
Yes.
So what was that?
As long as there's also a barn door, so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They'd fill up pretty fast. So after all that, I'm right there with you, Bruce. I wasn't quite as excited. I came in at 3.98, but I'm almost there.
Another solid score.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Are we getting soft in our old age?
I think that was a well thought out score.
Yes, it's
punching.
Like I was surprised, and I went double check the numbers, and there it was.
When I said his N scale dead, and he immediately went absolutely. That was he had. Although he did choose the Detroit Tigers, so that's how I came in underneath you.
Oh, okay, that would do it. Mm. Either way, I'd be happy because I like the Leafs and the Tigers. So.
Yeah, exactly.
That question is sort of like, yeah.
Bruce, can you give out our email address?
Our email address, please send us some emails. Actually, we sit by. Nah, sometimes we don't even.
Yeah.
We just check them on occasion. So our email address is ModelersLife, modelers with one L, ModelersLife@gmail.com.
Yeah. And so which would you rather plug, Chris? Would you rather plug trainlife.com or ExactRail.com?
Let's do Train Life.
All right. Trainlife.com. Go there.
Right.
I was going to ask you a question about that. That whole Paley Solberg thing. That was pretty cool that you bought that layout.
It is. Yeah, we're proud of it. So. And
I love those. Everybody's got to go to the layout, the page trainlife.com, and you go to the Utah store, and then you find links there. And I love the fact that you built the legs for it. It made it look like trestles.
Yeah, they're overkill. There are more. Those things will take a lot of weight. I was surprised at how sturdy they were.
Well, yeah, no kidding. I mean, you stand on those babies.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
And do you regularly run the layout?
Yeah, we try to.
Yeah. And could you have operating sessions on it if you were so inclined?
We would have to. I mean, we could. There's not too much to do other than running trains around the layout, but there are 2 industries that you could switch. So
Okay.
I mean, or a small crew of 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah. And was it, when you got it out of the box, was it pretty much what you were hoping for?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's stunning. It's absolutely beautiful.
That's cool. You are, Chris, and let's remind everybody, we both agree that we think the hobby's going to explode.
It is. It's exploding all over the place.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen? We're all going to get covered in model railroad goo.
Yep, and we're going to slip in it and fall.
Yeah, it's going to be great. All right.
And
what were you going to say?
It's just, we'd just enjoy it.
Absolutely. Because you and I both believe, along with Bruce, that the digital world is bringing massive amounts of young people into the hobby.
Absolutely.
Because you said at your store you got 2 young guys working there.
We do. Yeah, we've got a 19-year-old and a 25-year-old.
And how did you find them? Did you just put an ad in the paper and they showed up, or what?
The one kind of approached us. He's the one who shot all the videos of the layout being moved here, and we just liked him so much doing that we offered him a position. And then the 19-year-old kid, Sean, we just needed to fill another position in the store, and I kind of know him a little bit just through the local modelers in the area, and so we approached him and offered him a job, and he's, for a 19-year-old kid, he's one of the hardest working people I've ever known.
Oh, that's cool. That's a good thing.
Both of them are fantastic. Couldn't be happier with both of them.
There's a lot of young people that are making great contributions to society.
I agree.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, I mean, a lot of millennials get a bad rap, but these 2 are fantastic.
I think a lot of millennials do get a bad rap. I think there's some of my favorite people are millennials. So there you go. And my favorite thing is when people are complaining about millennials, and then I'll say, "What's your favorite sports team?" And it's like everybody on the team's a millennial. What are you talking about? All right. Yeah, make up your mind. All right, ModelersLife.com. That's our website. Go there. There's all kinds of stuff. Go check out ExactRail. Go look at TrainLife.com. Next time you need to buy something, TrainLife.com. Check those. It's a beautiful website.
It is.
It is. It's an awesome website. All right, you get to keep the tinfoil hat.
Good.
We'll autograph it for you.
So
Bruce,
nicely.
Yeah, Bruce, do you think he could handle the last part without any coaching?
There's only one way to find out, right?
Yeah, let's dive in. Chris, we're going to put you in the deep end of the pool here.
Uh-oh.
So be ready. Listen to what's going to be said and then be ready.
Okay.
All right. And please remember that a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10.
He hangs around with Pinellas too much.
Yeah.
I messed myself.
We'll do it again.
Okay.
We got nothing but time here.
Yeah. I'll edit it out.
Yeah. I edited it all out. Yeah. And remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
podiatrists.
I laughed at her and she got mad. The first day that she planted it was just a twig. Then the first snow came and she ran out to brush the snow away so it wouldn't die. Came running in all excited, slipped and almost hurt herself, and I laughed till I cried. She was always young at heart, kinda dumb and kinda smart, and I loved her so.
And now it's time for the New Jersey Transit Elevator Escalator Report. Take it away, Dave.
Good morning, everybody. Cranford eastbound's back in service. Plainfield westbound also back in service. Vendor had a good day out there yesterday. Hamilton number 3 is out. We think that one's going to be a brake adjustment, but we're going to check it in this morning. The vendor's on his way. At Westmont, we have the DCA out there today taking a look at the testing on the doors, making sure that the safety edges are back in tolerance after the outage yesterday. Newark Penn Station number 3 is out with a skirt panel reset, and Newark Penn Station number 17 is back in service after a reset this morning.
It's another Lincoln Homer.